Okay, I've started the recording. Can someone confirm if my screen is visible?
Visible.
Okay, then. Okay, in the last session, we will do a quick recap. In the last session, we have discussed about what the concept of connect and communicate, right? So for establishing a connection, we need a SQL plus tool to connect to the database. For example, if you are the user, if you want to connect to the Oracle database, you need to establish a connection. For establishing the connection, you need SQL plus tool. And in order to do the communication, you need SQL language, right? So, and also we have discussed about some problems that you will face. Before that, the difference between SQL plus and SQL. So this is just a database tool which was introduced by Oracle Corporation. But the SQL, it is a DB language which was introduced by IBM. Okay, SQL plus is used to perform the connect operation, where SQL is for the communication. And if you want to if you want to communicate, you need SQL plus, right? The SQL plus will act as an editor. You can write, you can execute any SQL or PLSQL or any queries, right? Under SQL, again, you have many sub languages: DDL, DML, DQL, TCL, and DCL to perform some operations. We are going to discuss each and everything in detail, right? And SQL Plus is a platform dependent editor. It will work only on Oracle environments, whereas SQL is a language which is platform independent. It works in many databases like MySQL, SQL Server, PostgRE, Oracle, etc. And in the real-time application, like whenever if you not in the real-time application, when you want to learn Oracle as a beginner, you will encounter a lot of problems, right? So the first problem is what you may be getting a error like something like the TNS protocol error, which you have seen the problem number one. First, open SQL editor, and it will prompt you to enter user and password. You will enter the username and the password. Then you establish the connection, right? But sometimes there will be a situation where you will get an error like the TNS protocol adapter error. If you get this error, you have to go to the services and you need to look for Oracle service ORCL, and you need to do what? You need to check whether it is running or it is not running. If it is not running, then this is the defect. You need to ensure that this is running. So you just click on this and you do what? You turn it running. After, when you see that it is running, then again you try to log in, it would work. What is the second problem that you would come very often? The account is locked problem. Okay? Whenever the account is locked, you will log into the default user ID and the password, which is what? /sys/sysdba, and the password is sys. Okay, and you will use it to what? You have a command like alter user command. Alter user system account unlock. Okay, username, the name of the user you want to unlock. Okay, the username and the unlock command. After this, when you try to re-log in, you will get connected, right? And what else we have? Then we have also seen about one more problem. Okay, so in the real time Oracle application development, you will come across two default user IDs. One is system username, and the second one is what? System username. It usually gets created at the time of installation, and this is available to you by default. Especially this one is available to you by default. And if you are not able to connect in both the default users, the only thing that you can do is reinstalling the software. Is the only solution. And after this, we have understood how to create the own user identity password. Okay, we have seen these things and how to grant privileges, right? Also, we have understood what are the steps to change the password. Okay, let us start a few more commands today. Then we will understand about the complete SQL language one by one. Okay, so let us go. Okay, let me open SQL Plus editor. Okay. As soon as I open this, what I want to do, I want to establish the connection. So what is the default username? I can either choose system or I can choose what backward slash sys as sysadmin. This DBA, the system, and I am entering the password. Okay, I am able to connect to the database. So I have established the connection. Okay. Now my requirement is I want to create my own username and the own password. Okay. In order to do that, okay, you need to use a command like create user. What username you want to give? Let us say that the username is Balaji, or else let us say that the username is test1. Okay. And it has to be what identified by password. You can give any password. Let me take 123. Okay. Don't worry about what is this create. So it is just like I'm saying create user. Okay. Create user followed by the username that you want to create. Identify the password that you want to choose. So this is the syntax. If I give you the syntax, this is how the syntax is going to. So we are going to see these things in detail in the following classes. But for now, just try to understand how the user name, the own username and the own password is created. The test one is what? The username. You can give any username. Okay, and identified by is what? Password, user password. Okay, the things that I have given in the angular braces. Okay, this is what you have to take care. You can give your own username if you want, if you can give your own password. So this is the typical command which will help you to create your own username and password. To create your own username and the password. Having said this, I want to do what? I want to create user test1 identified by 123. 1 minute. Test1. Right. It says user created. So I missed a semicolon. That's why I am doing it once again. So user created. Okay. After creating the users, if I want to log in, if I want to log in with the username test1 and with the password 123, okay, I will get an error. Okay. Test1. Why we will get an error? We have seen this in the last class. Privileges needs to be granted. It says user test1 lacks create session privilege log on denied. Okay, so it is just like the admin is going to create user ID and password for each and every employee in the company. It's not only you need to create user ID and password. The job of the admin is also to ensure that he is granting the privileges, right? We have seen this example in the previous session. Like what is the privileges? How to grant the privilege? Okay, we will be using another command. Okay, let me connect system. What is the password? Let me connect to the default username and the default password. So to granting the privilege, it needs to use the following command like grant connect. Okay, to which user? It needs to grant privileges to test1 user. Okay, he has to ensure that the user user name is given here. Grant connection to the test1 means privileges will be granted. Okay. After granting the privileges, now the end user can check his connection. Will be entering his username system, not system, test1. The password is 123. Now the test1 user is able to successfully connect to the database. So I'm just revising things that we have done in the last session. So what is the second thing? create user and also granting the privileges. Okay, this is the command. The user is the username. So this is the syntax. So these two things needs to be taken care by the admin. Firstly, for each and every employee, you will be creating usernames and the password. Okay, so this one, and again on top of it, he also should ensure that the privileges are granted. Right? So this user, once the username and password is created, this is called as what, the dummy user. The dummy user needs to get activated by the same admin by using this syntax. Grant connect. So these two things will ensure that the new user ID and password is created and the privileges are also granted. Right? Then how to change the password? To change the password, okay, there is a command called password command. You just use the password button. It will ask you to enter the old password for the specific user, test one. I have used 123. Now I want to use ABC. You don't see the password because for security reasons it is hidden. Okay? Sorry, I have given the old password as the new password. Let me repeat this one. Connection. Username is test1. Password is 123. Okay, I want to change the password. I am using the password command. Okay, it is asking me to enter the old password. 123 is my old password. I am entering. New password. I want to change this to ABC. Retype new password. Again ABC. Okay, password has been changed. Okay, again I want to make the connection. I want to establish the connection. Let me give the username test1 or let me give the password in the same line. I can do this also. I can use the / command. I can give the password in the same line. This is the username and this is the password. It is connected. That's it. These are the things that we have discussed in the last session. Today there are two more commands that is used for the Oracle connectivity. The two more commands are like how to create a new password if you forgot it. How to create a new password if we forgot it. Okay, the syntax. You will have to use a command like alter command, alter user followed by the username identified by new password. Let us say that we have just created a user ID and password, guys. We have just created test1 and the password says ABC. So this is what we have just done, right? So let us say that we have forgotten the password here. The username is, we are good with the username. So we always remember the username. So test1. But unfortunately, we have forgotten the password. Password is what? We have forgotten. Lost or forgotten, right? So you want to ensure that the password is getting reset. You want to change the password, or you want to create a new password, or the password is getting resetted. How do you do that? You typically you will use a command like what? You will use a command like alter username identified by the password. Let us say that I am forgetting this password deliberately. And I'm using test1. Okay? And for the password, I am not sure what the password is. I am using what? I am using XYZ. It would say invalid user or invalid logon denied. Okay, and you are also getting a warning. You are no longer connected to Oracle. Okay, what I want to do before even before even creating the new password or resetting the password, I will connect to the default user ID and the default password. Okay, connection has been created. So what I want to perform, I want to change the password that I have forgotten. So for this test one user ID, I need to reset the password or change the password because I have forgotten, right? For that, I will use a command like alter user followed by which username, test one. For this test one, okay, I will be creating my new password directly identified by. Okay, now I will be giving 123. Here says user altered. User altered means, so what is happening behind the scenes here is very simple. Whatever the things that you do, always remember there will be two user ID and there will be two users in the Oracle database. You take this as a database Oracle, right? By default, you have there are two usernames. One default username is what? The system. System is one of the username. Okay. Next one is what? Backward slash this as this DVA. Okay. And the system has the password. Okay, at the time of installation, you have given a password like root, and here at the time of not at the time of installation. By default, the default password is what? System. So these are the usernames and the password for the admins. Yeah, by default, these are available to the admins. What is the actual job of the admin? The job of the admin is to ensure that usernames and passwords are created for all the employees or all the users. Let us say that there are 4 employees. Okay, it's the duty of the admin to ensure that username and password is created for each and every employee. Whose duty? Admin's duty. Okay. And as a user, let us say that this is user A. Let us say that the name of this employee or user B, the name of this employee is C, or name of this employee or user is T. Okay. As soon as these employees joined to the company, as soon as these employees are just joined in the company, the duty of the admin is to create username and the password for each and every employee. Okay, without asking him, this user ID or username and the password will be created by the admin to each and every individual employee. Okay. You will be just creating the username and the password, but the privileges will not be granted. How the privileges will be granted? So the A employee needs to place a request to the admin so that admin will grant the privileges. The employee A will be placing a request to the admin. Okay. Then admin will grant the privileges, which means the account gets activated. So account gets activated. After the activation, there are high chances that what? There are high chances that this particular employee may forget the password or the password needs to get resetted. Username you will remember because they will be sending the username. But the password, when it comes to password, it is very secure. He might have forgotten or he might have misplaced. Okay, so it has to get resetted. You don't know what is the password is. You know his username and he forgotten the password. Okay. So in order to do the reset, again, you need to place a request. The end user has to place a request, or the employee has to place a request to the admin for the password reset. Okay, what admin will do to reset the password? He should definitely log into what? He should definitely log into either system user or the SYSDBA user. Either he should log in one of these users, then he can perform the password reset for this particular employee. Yeah, that's why I'm ensuring here that I'm first getting connected to what? I'm first getting connected to the system user, one of the default user. Okay, I'm going back to the admin privileges. I'm using the admin privileges. Then I am performing the action. To which account I want to reset the password? I want to reset the password for which account? I want to reset the password for this username and the password, this employee, particular employee. Okay. So what is the username that we have just created for this employee? Test one. Okay. Password we need to reset. In order to do this, we are typically using a command like what? This is the command that we are using. Okay. alter command, this command. For now, don't worry about the explanation behind this command. Just try to understand. If you give this command, just worry about the syntax. Okay, there is an alter, there is an user. You will have to give the username. Okay, test one user has forgotten the password. So here directly you will be giving the new password 123. You are altering the password directly. Okay. After doing this, after using this command, okay, the password has been password gets resetted successfully. The user altered. Okay, now perform the connection. As an admin, what you would do after resetting the password, you would inform the employee. Admin will inform the employee, right? Admin will inform the employee. The employee, please use this password 123. I have just resetted it. Please use this password 123. With the same SQL plus editor, I am using the on command, which will try to establish the communication, or which will prompt enter the username and the password. Username is what? Test1. Okay. And the password is what? We have changed the password. We have reset the password to 123. Okay, now connection is established. Right? So if you want to do the reset to the password, first you need to ensure that you are connecting to the default username and the password. Then you can alter or you can reset the password. Since we are using only SQL plus, so we are learning now. So we will be acting as an admin as well as we will be acting as the end user. Users are the employees. Okay. Now these things are very clear now. So if you forgot password, this is how we will be able to reset. And there is one more thing that we need to understand, right? How to view all the usernames in Oracle database. So forgetting password, we are able to reset it. But if you have forgotten the username also, how to view the username? Okay, the question is, how to check the number of users in the Oracle database. I want to see how many users are there in my Oracle database. Okay, the syntax is very simple. Syntax. Syntax says select username from all underscore users. Select username from all underscore users. Okay, now let's see. Select user name from all underscore users. If you see, as soon as you give this command, you will be able to see so many users. Okay, so this is this user. These are the default things. So default usernames you will see. These are the default usernames. So there are a lot of users inside the Oracle database. The moment you download the software, you will get some default users. There is a purpose for these default users. We will be understanding this going forward. But the user defined users, okay, the users that we have created can be found under in the last section, username. Okay, test one has been created by us. My DB is created by us. My DB is created by us. Ball is created by us. HR is created by us. So these are the all the usernames that has been created by us. Okay, now it says 41 rows select. Okay, totally this many users are there. Combination of the default users and the combinations of the own user defined admin created users. The users created by the admin. Right, you will get to see all the users. Right. So what is the command for that? So this is the typical command. Select username from all the users. From all users. And select is a command. We will be discussing these things in detail in the future classes. In order to see all the users, in order to view all the users, this is the command. Okay. And one more thing, if you want to delete the user, for example, so this is your office. Yeah, there is an admin and there is one employee, right? This employee has left the company. The employee has left the company. As soon as he leaves the company, the username and the password for this employee needs to be deleted. The name and the password needs to be what? Needs to be deleted. Needs to be deleted. So he is no longer part of the particular company. It's admin's job to delete the username and the password that is created. How do we perform that? How do really does it perform that? You will use a command. We will have to connect to the default system. Give connection. The default username system and the password is what? Root. Okay, admin has logged into his default username and the password. Okay, what we want to do? You want to delete. Want to what? You want to delete. So in SQL, instead of delete, we will use a word like drop. Okay, how to drop. Drop is same as what? Delete. How to delete a user? How to drop a user from the Oracle database? Okay, the syntax. Syntax is what? Drop user followed by the username. Which user you want to drop or which user you want to delete. Okay, there is what? There is a predefined keyword called cascade keyword. Don't worry about what is this keyword and all. These are the basic operations that we are trying to understand. As a beginner, we need to learn all these things. We will encounter a lot of problems. As a beginner, we need to understand how to do all these things. That's why I'm teaching you this, the basic operations. Later you will learn the complex things. Later you will learn how to create a DB script. Later you will learn about all these sub languages going forward. Right? Drop user, username cascade. I want to drop this user, which is what? The test one. Test one is the user I want to drop. So what will be the? I just need to replace this, right? So drop user. Username is what? Test one, followed by cascade. Cascade is a predefined keyword. The moment I enter this, the user will be dropped, and this user will no longer be listed in this in the Oracle database. Okay, let me check what? Let me check the select username from all the users. Now you see, now test one is not there. Previously test one was there. Okay, now as soon as I use the delete command, as soon as I use the drop command, okay, now you don't see the test one. It has been deleted by the admin successfully. Okay, these are the major commands that you need to practice. Okay, these are the major commands that you need to practice. Okay, now today we will start what? Today we will start the actual topic, what? SQL, structured query language. What is SQL? Okay, let me take a new page. Okay, now the SQL. What is SQL? I can say that SQL is an acronym for SQL is an acronym for structured query language. Okay. First point, it is an acronym for structured query language. And second point is it was introduced. It was introduced by which company? IBM company. For communication the databases. Okay, when I say databases, I cannot just say databases. For the communication with the relational databases. Any database that is going to use a table to store data. If you have any database, for example, I have a database, let us say that I have Oracle database. right? My Oracle database is called as what? Relational database management system. Why it is called as relational database management system? We have understood what is relational database management system, RDBMS. When I say RDBMS, all the data will be stored in the structured format, which means internally it is going to use a table. The user table, and this table is going to have what? Rows and the columns. Okay, the data is going to be organized. You use a table. You will not face any issues like data inconsistency issues or data latency or data what we call it as redundancy. We have seen these things in the while learning the Oracle in the beginning of the sessions. Right? So everything will be in the form of shown in the form of tables. That's why it was introduced by IBM for communication with the relational database. Relational database. Right? And the third point is initially the name of the SQL was given as like SQL. The initial name of the language, or I can say initial name is called as what? SQL. Initially, when IBM introduced this language, so they used to pronounce it like SQL, or the language is called as SQL. Again, the SQL stands for. You might be coming across this particular keyword when you're giving interviews. They would say, "Do you know SQL?" SQL is nothing but SQL only. But this acronym for the SQL is SE is for S for structured, okay, and you have what? You have E for English, okay, and you have what? QUE combinedly stands for query, okay, and L stands for language. A structured English query language is the complete acronym for SQL. Later, some days, okay, they have renamed this as what? SQL. Language name was renamed as SQL. Okay, this is the right pronunciation SQL. Now, SQL is not the correct pronunciation. So, what language do you know? What database languages do you know? Should say it's SQL, okay, not SQL. Okay. And the fifth point is the SQL commands. Typically, the SQL commands are not a SQL language. SQL languages and the commands that you're using in the SQL language, they are not a case-sensitive programming language. I can say that SQL language is not a case-sensitive programming language. What does it really mean? For example, let me take a typical command. Okay, I want to select all from employee. Okay, this command is used to select all the data from the employee table. Okay, this is an example command. Don't worry about this command. When I give this command, it will help me to select all the data that is available there in the employee table. It will list out the employee table. Okay, this command is valid because everything is in uppercase. Valid command. I can also do what? I can also give everything in the lowercase. Select star from employee. This command is also valid as the previous command. You can either use uppercase, you can either use completely smaller case, or you can either use the combination of upper and the lowercase. Combination of what? Combination of upper and the lowercase. This is also valid because it is not case sensitive. If you see some programming language, especially if you want to work with Java, Java is what? Java is a case sensitive programming language. Java is a case sensitive programming language. Sensitive programming. You want to represent any class in Java. Okay. Class A. So this is the valid one because in Java there are some keywords and the class is one of the keyword. It should be in the lowercase letter. I cannot take it like what? I cannot take it like a class A. Class A. This is invalid. This is valid combination. And the below one is what? Invalid combination, because Java is the case sensitive. It will give importance to the case. This command is completely different from this command. Java will recognize this command as a valid one. It will recognize as this one as an invalid one. Just because Java is what? Java is very case sensitive language. Smaller case class is completely different than the class that is represented in the uppercase. Okay, this is valid, this is invalid. So when you see case sensitive programming language, Java is one among them. But SQL is not like that. SQL is not a case sensitive programming language. You can use uppercase, or you can use the lowercase, or you can use the combination of both upper and the lowercase. This is valid, this is also valid, and also completely valid. Okay. So I can say that please be informed that in the SQL language, in the SQL, you can use the commands by choosing what? By choosing the uppercase or lowercase, or the combination of upper and the lowercase. Combination of upper and the lower or the query. For the queries or for the commands. Right? And always remember that even the user ID is also not case sensitive. User ID is also not case sensitive. Only the case sensitive is what? Password is the case sensitive. Password is the case. Okay. Now, next point. Sixth point. Okay. There are many sub-languages in the SQL. Sub-languages in the SQL. Okay, sub-languages like, okay, let us understand these sub-languages in detail. The sub-languages are as follows. Okay, there is a language called, language within a language. Okay, under the SQL, there are many sub-languages. The first sub-language is what? There is a language called data definition language. Definition language. Okay, so it is shortcut. DDL is a shortcut for that. DDL is an acronym for that. So by using this data definition language, you can do two operation guides. If you want to create something, you can create. Second one is, if you want to alter something, you can alter. Okay, and again there are many commands under the alter. There are again many commands under the alter. Under the alter, you have commands like, okay, alter, modify, okay, and you have commands like alter, add, you have commands like alter, rename, you have commands like alter, drop. What is this alter? What is this create? You will understand that. So these are the sub languages. These are the sub languages of SQL. So this create means typically you are going to create something new. It is like, for example, if you want to create a new table, you can use a create command. If you want to create a new database, if you want to create a new database, you can create the new database. Whatever the things that you are trying to do it for the first time, if you want to create that for the first time, you can go for create command. And again, we will discuss about this create command in detail. Okay, try to understand the commands, name of the commands first. Okay, and the alter command. Alter command is like if you want to do any kind of modifications, like modify, alteration. Like if you want to add something, if you want to rename something, if you want to drop. Drop is what? Drop is called as what? Drop is also called as delete. Okay? You can go for this alter command. And there are few more commands like truncate command is there. Separately, there are commands like rename command. There are commands like truncate. Okay, and there is also a command like what? Drop command. We have just used the drop command, right? We have just used delete something. And in the under the latest features, here the latest features of the data definition language, latest features of DDL. Okay, you have what? Recycle bin. You have flashback, and you have what? Purge. Okay, this recycle bin is very simple, guys. Recycle bin is what? When you accidentally delete something. Okay, during some, I mean, in the some versions of Oracle language, I mean, some versions of Oracle environment, and when you want to delete something, so you delete it, but that gets deleted permanently. That is going to get deleted permanently. In the latest SQL future, okay, in the latest versions of DDL language, they have introduced a concept called recycle bin. Recycle bin is something, okay, if you're accidentally deleting something, okay, that will remain in the recycle bin for some time. That data is going to get remain in the recycle bin for some time. Just like if you're using phones, you will see the backup, right? Restore. You will be having an option in the in the recycle bin to restore. But all the data that you get deleted accidentally will store in the recycle bin. Likewise, even the SQL language, as the data definition language, has introduced what the recycle bin concept in the latest features. One of these latest feature. Okay? So if you are accidentally deleting a table, that table will be available in the recycle bin, right? And second concept, flashback. If you want to restore, okay, let us say that you have deleted a table A. Table A has been deleted. So this is the table A. Name of the table is A. If this table has been deleted accidentally, this will be inside the recycle bin. This table will be inside the recycle bin. But if you want to restore that, you will be using the flashback. You will be using the flashback command to restore the table. If you want to delete that permanently, you will be using what? You will be using the purge command. These features are introduced in what? Introduced in the new, introduced as the latest feature of what? DDL language, data declaration language. And we will see these things in detail. For now, try to remember these commands. Under DDL language, we have these many commands, right? So what is the second language? Second sub language is like, we have sub language like the DML command. DML is standing for what? Data manipulation language. Yeah. The manipulation language is called DML. Manipulation. If you have a piece of data, for example, let I say I have a piece of data like Balaji. This Balaji will get manipulated as the time goes. Okay, Balaji becomes what? I will be adding the Balaji won't remain as a Balaji. Balaji becomes Balaji M, a manipulation. Okay. Again, this Balaji M will become what? Small Balaji. Balaji in lower cases. Balaji M. Balaji M. Okay. Again, this Balaji will get something like Balaji Yeah, balaji.balaji@gmail.com. So when one data is getting manipulated from one time to another time, okay, that will come under what? Data manipulation language. So you will do a lot of manipulations. Again, under the manipulations, there are many commands. Okay, one is what? One is the insert command. You will come across the insert command. Come across what? Update command. If you want to update something, you want to delete something, come across what? Delete command. Okay, these are the three main commands under the data manipulation language, and there are also latest features. Latest features in DML. Okay, what are the latest features that we have? You have insert all, and you also have what? You have also have merge command. Right? So these are the commands under the data manipulation language. And the third sublanguage is what? The third sublanguage is data query language. Query. It is called as what? DDL, data declaration language, or DRL, data retrieval language. Okay, it is an acronym for data declaration language, data retrieval language. Okay, there is a command, there is only one command called what? The select command. Okay. The fourth sublanguage is transaction control language. Okay, under the this is called as what? TCL. Okay, under the transaction control language, there are commands like, okay, you do commit. Mint command is there. You have what? You have rollback. You have save point. And the last one is what? Data control language, DCL. Control language is called as what? DCL. Okay, you have the command like grant. You have command like revoke. And okay, these are the five sublanguages of what? These are the five sublanguages of SQL. Okay, the first sublanguage is what? The data definition language, DDL. Okay, and the second language is data manipulation language, and these are the commands under data manipulation language. Right, and the third one is what? Data query language. You have select command, and the transaction control language, TCL. You have these three commands, and you have what? You have what? Data control language, which is what? DCL, and these are the two commands under DCL. Right? What is the first command? When you see the first command is what? Create command. You will understand each and every command in detail. What is this create and what is this alter? Okay, and again on alter we have four sub commands. What are these? So what is this rename? What is this truncate? What is this drop? Okay, and what are these commands? We will understand each and every command in detail. So after understanding all the commands, we will be like we will be completing 20% of the SQL language. After understanding all these commands, insert, update, delete, insert all, merge, the select command in detail, how these commands will be, how to understand the control flow of this command, what happens behind the scenes when we use each and every command. We're going to see everything in detail. But for now, you just revise this, just like understand and get acquainted to this terminologies, get acquainted to these words. If I ask you how many sublanguages are there in SQL, you should be in a position to say that there are five sublanguages: DDL and DML, DRL or DDL, TCL and DCL. Okay, if I ask you what are the commands under DDL, you should remember all this. Remember all this. Be in a position to tell all this. If I ask you select is under which sublanguage, you should say data query language. They ask a revoke is under revoke command is under which language? You should say data control language. Understand these things. my duty to explain each and everything in detail. From tomorrow, we will see what is this create command. Create command is the important command because we are going to create a table by using the create command. I need to follow a lot of rules and regulations, lot of rules and guidelines to create a table, to create something. That we will be see that we will see in the tomorrow's class. So from tomorrow, actual SQL language is going to get started. Don't miss any class from tomorrow onwards.